This is The Taxman Show. We ask the questions to make sure all of your accounting and small business questions are answered.
Hey everybody, my name's Albert Corey from Corner Solutions Accounting and Small Business, where every day we come on and we ask the questions to make sure you get the best accounting and opening up your business correctly. Today I am live on the stage of the Bugs Free Mine in Las Vegas. All right, and the show always goes on. I'm doing the live for everybody here in the room. And I am holding my mic here because my tripod broke, but the show goes on. Today we're going to talk about why open up a corporation or LLC. Okay, there are 3 reasons why you open up a corporation. It's your tax advantages, the liability, and you want to look big. Okay, let me start over with everyone. The tax advantages. When you have a corporation or an LLC, you can deduct everything. Okay, this can be very helpful. You can deduct your car, you can deduct your house, you can deduct cleaning supplies, going on the seminars where I'm at right now, all that becomes deductible. Okay, everything becomes deductible. The food, your car, going to events. With the new tax law stuff, okay, it gets very, very, very hard to deduct. Okay, sorry. No, it's all right, guys. You know, this is a live broadcast, okay, at a live event. So things happen, things always go. The show goes on. So you can deduct everything. In today's tax environment, right, you can't always deduct everything. Because if you're an employee in your startup, you either got put on a Schedule C. Schedule Cs are bad because now the government can now track you. They track a lot of personal returns. They can set up the program. Okay, they can set up a program to check any line that they want to get you. That's just the way the IRS audited systems. They could put a line on and they can check you. But when you're a corporation, they can't check it because there's thousands and thousands and thousands of returns. So it's almost impossible to check. All right, so that's one reason. The second reason why you want to open up a corporation is liability, guys. Liability is the biggest factor of all why you want to open up a corporation. Because once you open up a corporation, I call it, you put a wall, a concrete barrier around your business. What does this mean? This gets very, very, very important if somebody tries to sue you. Okay, so when you got that wall up, okay, they can't touch your personal returns. They can only go after what you owe, what the value of the company. So if you're doing product liability, if you're doing painting and stuff, and you put paint on a car, okay, and it's expensive Mercedes, they can't go to you personally. They can only sue the assets of a company, of the value of the company. Obviously, ask your lawyers for more information. So, and now you got the concrete wall. What the concrete wall is, say you start a business. Here's another good example why you open up a corporation. Say you go rent an office, okay, underneath a corporate name, all right, and your company goes south. Well, they can't come back and sue you. Okay, they can't come back and sue you. So that's another way. So now that you have it, when you open up the corporation, you get a concrete wall. Okay, by the way, see the Bugs Free Mine here. There's their little logo. Annual convention, Las Vegas. Okay, so now you get the concrete wall around you. So now they can't come after you. Second of all, when you're trying to start a business, you want to look bigger than you are. Okay, you want to look bigger than you are. Why do you want to look bigger than you are? Because the competition is fierce out there. Competition is very fierce. So if there's 2 bids, okay, if there's 2 bids out there and they're trying to looking for the one and it's an equal quote, the American public likes to perceive that you're a big company, that you're on Wall Street. So they're going to go with the bigger company. Now, there are 3 types of corporations you can open up. A corporate, and we're going to go over the advantage and disadvantages of all 3. The three types are you have a regular corporation, which is 1120. You have a sub-S corporation, which is 1120S. Okay, and you have an LLC, a limited liability partnership. Okay, now I'm going to explain the three types of corporations and what they do and the advantages. Let's start off with a sub-S corporation. A sub-S corporation has all, you have all the tax advantages as we spoke up earlier, okay, which means, the tax advantages, we talked about that earlier, means that you got the personal liability, which they can't come after you. You have a personal liability, they can't come after you. You have their profit and loss. I'll go over that in a minute. And you have the tax advantages. Okay, now the good also advantages is the profit or loss is passed on. Okay, the profit and loss is passed on onto your personal tax return. People always ask me, what does that mean? It's like if you had interest from a bank, okay, every time you get interest in a bank, it doesn't matter what the profit a bank gets, it goes on your tax return. If you own stocks and you get dividends, it works the same way. The profit and loss is like dividends, and it goes back to your tax return. Those are the advantages. The disadvantages of a sub-S company are, okay, the disadvantages are you can only have values up to $249,000. You can only have 14 partners. Remember, one of the advantages, you can open up your corporation with just one person, okay? And you can only have up to 249,000. The really only another disadvantage is you got to send in one extra paper to 2553. If you have any questions about how to fill out a 2553, just put a comment below or get a hold of us and we'll gladly help you through it. Now, and another good advantages of a sub-S company, it's awesome if you're a startup. Okay, it's amazing if you're a startup. Okay, you don't have any partners, it's just you. I see a lot of people. We've been doing accounting and small business coaching since 1985, and I see a lot of people who come into the office, and we're going to explain about that later, that they all have this LLC, but they're sole member LLCs. So therefore, you don't get the protection. So we'll talk about that in a few minutes. Our next one we're going to talk about, which a lot of people do, is an LLC, which is a limited liability partnership. Okay, that's just what I said, guys. You need to have two partners. Here's the advantages. It still has the tax advantages. It still has the tax liability. You're okay. Okay. You can have as much income as you need. I've always recommended this. If you have real estate, if you're going to be an investor of real estate, this is always pretty good. Yeah. Thank you, guys. By the way, if you want to come and hold the camera, you're always welcome to. Because my tripod broke, but the show goes on. Thank you. See, guys, my tripod did break, but, the live goes on. Oh, look, that came out. And my show goes on to explain people that we're going to put it on a video later during the day. So that was one of my teammates and my friends. By the way, we're live in Las Vegas showing this. So you're going to see a lot of interruptions and stuff. So now we're talking about the liabilities and LLCs. It's also good if you got a bunch of foreign investors. Okay, so because foreign investors cannot be on a corporation and they cannot be on a sub-S company. So those are the advantages. The disadvantages of the LLC is you have to pay Social Security tax on the profit. On sub-S companies, you don't have to pay Social Security tax. Okay, you don't have to pay Social Security tax on the profit. But here's what happens a lot of times when people come into my office. Okay, they go on their whatever state you want and they open up an LLC. Like, because everybody in the world tells them to go up an LLC. Every blog, every person. Because they don't understand or they don't know about sub-S. That's never talked about. So you go open up your LLC, all right, which is cool. Okay, you then open up a bank account. By the way, once you open up a corporation or an LLC or whatever, you open up a bank account. They then come to go to my office and do a tax return. Well, guess what, guys? If you don't have two partners, okay, if you don't have two partners, then you're sole proprietor, a sole single member LLC. That's bad, in my opinion, because you don't get the tax advantages because the sole member goes straight to the Schedule C, which the government can audit you. That you don't want to do. And you don't really have all the tax liability issues. I mean, you do have all the tax liability issues because remember, once it goes on a Schedule C and something goes south, they could send and ask you for your tax returns. And on your tax returns, you like it, huh? My audience, they're sitting here like it, huh? And once it goes on your tax returns, okay, on your personal return, the IRS little computer can go, do-do-do-do-do, got you, boys. I used to say another word, but this is a PG audience, all right? So you don't want to do that, okay? That happens all the time. So if you're going to open an LLC, you better have two partners, or else you're going to get whack-doodled on it. However, what I found to help people out is if you have an LLC, you can convert it to a sub-S company by sending in a 2553. People come up and tell me all the time, but Albert, if I convert it to a sub-S company, I will lose all my tax liabilities. Well, guess what, guys? That's not true, guys. You're still, to the world, you're an LLC. To the I and the R and the S, you are you're a sub-S company, and you can have an owner, okay? And, to the IRS, that's all that matters. But to the world, you're an LLC. So any questions or comments, you could always put it below or call me later or get a hold of me. Now, the final thing we're going to talk about today is why open up a regular corporation. And this happens a lot because I know we're in Florida and I see a lot of these people. They go, I can go on Sunbiz and I will open up a corporation. I don't need you because I can do it myself for $70. Well, guess what? That was your mistake. You open up your corporation, a corporation. You don't send in the papers to be a 2553. But here's the advantages. The advantages of a corporation is you don't have any partner. Remember, a corporation. What I meant by a corporation is you're going to file on 1120. Okay, that's the form you file. So here's the advantages. You don't have to have any partners at all. Okay, and that's the only advantage. The advantage is you don't have to have partners, but you still have no liability. The disadvantage is that the government's going to make you pay more tax. That's right. The government's going to make you pay more tax. Okay? They're going to make you pay tax. So why would you do it? The only reason why people do it because they think by listening and they don't want to pay anybody, so that's what you can do. By the way, my name's Albert Corey from Corey & Associates Accounting and Small Business. We've been doing this for 35 years. So if you have any questions or comments, you could put it below. Guys, do you have any questions? All right. Or you can always get a hold of us and we will help you. All right, guys. Gotta go. Talk to you soon. Bye.
Thank you for listening to The Taxman Show. If you have any questions, please leave it below or email it to albert@1040w2.com. Remember, sharing is caring. Please follow us on all social media platforms.